and get started. I'm going to bring this here back to my normal 125%. Okay, this here is just an introduction, what I'm calling house layout. What is house layout? We're going to do something like an architectural drawing, where you lay out like the bedrooms and the kitchen, the bathroom, and all that kind of stuff. I realize Microsoft Word is not an architectural drawing program, so it's going to be a little challenging as far as what tools we use and how we do it. And there's not necessarily one right way to do it. First of all, we're going to change the orientation of our page. We want it to be sideways. So I'm going to look here under File menu, go to Page Setup, and if you look here under Orientation, we have what's called, what do they call this here? Portrait, the up and down, and then this is usually called Landscape. Okay, so we're going to click the second button and hit OK, and that makes our document sideways. You can adjust the view percent based on your preference. I'd say at least 125 on your computers. Okay, now this one here would be a good one to change the margins also. If we click on Layout, we're going to do margins on Layout this time, so click on the Layout tab. And let's change, we got top left, bottom right, right here, right in front of us. When you click on the Layout tab, you got your margins right there. So let's go ahead and knock these down to maybe 0.5 of an inch each, so that'd be half of an inch. Now you can type in there 0.5, or you can use a little down arrow like I'm doing. Then you can see your ruler changing when you do that. Okay, so I'm doing that myself. They give you a warning sometime about printable stuff, but we're not going to worry about that. Okay, so I just put in a 0.5 margin all the way around. Okay, now to get started here, there's not a one way to do it, and your layout doesn't have to look like mine. But I'm going to start with a basic rectangle. So I'm going to go back to Home here, the Home tab. I'm going to go back to Shapes. I'm going to go to Rectangle. I'm going to click on Rectangle, and I'm going to start my house with a rectangle like that. And I'm going to fill the space there as much as I can from left to right, not from top to bottom. I'm going to leave some room down here. Now I'm going to double click on my rectangle, and that's going to bring up the Format menu. And I'm going to go to Fill and take the fill out. We don't want to fill in our house. I'm going to change the line to black. Okay, so that looks a little bit more like an architectural type drawing. Now, we're going to use a lot of lines. So I'm going to go under Shapes here, go to Lines, and go to the first one, just a standard straight line. Okay, so I'm going to start dividing up my rooms. I could always move these lines around later. So I'm going to put one room like this. Now, a little trick here, you can click on this, do a Control-C copy, and then do a paste, and then give you another line of the exact same width and length and everything. So I'm going to pull this one down to here. Now I'm going to go back up here and click on some other lines. I'm going to pretend this room over here is a bedroom. So I'm going to drag a line there. Now, why did I leave a little gap there?
For a door.
For a door. Now, how do you do a door? You go up here, select the line, and then usually if you've ever seen an architectural drawing, they'll do something like that. Okay? And then this here is going to be our kitchen. Now, to do the kitchen, we're going to have to zoom in. Yeah, now, yeah, yours doesn't have to be exactly how mine is, but we're going to want to put in the basics, at least 1 or 2 bedrooms, a kitchen, at least 1 living room or family room, a garage, a bathroom. Yeah, mine is an example. Yours does not have to be the exact same layout. As a matter of fact, if you just want to watch me for 2-3 minutes, that's okay. Now, in the kitchen, we don't have to have every detail in there, but we want to have some details. So I'm going to go to Rectangle again. Now notice I zoomed in to do this. I'm going to drag here, and that to me is going to be like a kitchen counter. Now this one I am going to leave a fill in there, except I'm going to give it a different color fill. Okay, and again, yours can be colorful. It doesn't have to be just blacks and grays. If you want to have reds and greens and blues and stuff, that's okay. Now that to me would be like, someone could interpret that as a counter or cabinets or both. You don't have to explain. Okay? Then I'm going to go back up to, I'm going to go back to home, go back to shapes. We're going to do another rectangle, except this one's going to be a little square. What do you think that might be? That could probably like a refrigerator. Okay? So I'm just going to put that. Now, does everything have to be 100% proportional? No. I mean, we're not architects here. Then over here, then I do want a small text box or a call out, whichever you prefer. Probably a text box is fine. That is saying what that room is. So I'm going to do here, I'm going to drag a text box, and I'm going to put kitchen. Now I'm zoomed in. This is on 12 point. I don't necessarily need 12 point for this. Maybe 10 point would be fine. Okay, now I can come back and add some more detail later, but that there is not a bad start. I'm going to go over here. I just did a copy and paste just to bring another thing here. I'm going to put bedroom. Now, how do you make it look like there's windows here? One way you do that is to go to the line tool. Okay, now I'm going to put a line like right here. Now you can't even really see it hardly. Now my line is selected, has handles on it. So go up to, actually I have to click on it. So I have to click on my line, then I get this format menu comes up. I'm going to pull down the line tool here. I'm going to make it black. And I'm going to go to the weights and make it as thick as I can. Okay, that now looks, that's how they do windows a lot for this here. Now I can do the same thing. I'm going to copy and paste. Oh, I accidentally selected the wrong thing, not what I wanted. Okay, I was trying to do the window. I could just do it by going back up here. I'm going to click on home. I'm going to go back to lines. I'm going to draw one here. And then I'm going to just double click on it. Go up to line. Go to black. Go up to line again. Go to weight. And do the thickest one again. So that would show like another window there. Now, do you got to do dressers and beds and that? Not necessarily. Right now, your main priority is do your basic rooms. You're not going to include every detail, but try to put some details in here and there. Now, back to my bigger picture here. Last thing I'm going to do here. Now, that's just to get you started. I think you kind of know where you can go from here. I'm going to add a garage up here. So it's going to be another rectangle. So I have to click on Home tab to go back to my shapes. I go to rectangle. Now my garage is going to be something like this here. Okay. Now don't worry if it's 100% proportional or that. I'm going to click on the garage. I'm going to take the fill out. I'm going to change the line around it, something dark. Now you don't have to necessarily use just black lines, but don't just leave the default blue on everything. Make some changes. And then I could make like a thick door here. I'm going to put a text box in there. It says garage. Okay, this here I'm bringing a text box down here, labeling this here garage. Okay, so you're basically having fun with a layout. Okay, and then you name it house layout. I'll give you the handout here in a little bit. And you save it in your Word with everything else. And this is just a start. So the goal is to do your, now, does this have to be a 2-story house with another sheet? No. 1 story, try to hit at least 1 bedroom, 1 kitchen, 1 bathroom, some type of living family room. If you got room to stick in another bedroom or another family room or whatever you want to put in, but at least get some basics in there and have some type of garage connected to it. And then label things like where windows are and at least some of the doors and some text boxes. So have some fun with that. Now you can do it like your dream house. Like in my case, I'd probably start with the home theater room that would double as my studio. So that would be a big deal. Put a big screen TV in there and stuff. Whoops, I almost forgot to stop my screen record. Okay, I'm going to stop the screen record here, and I'll have that for people who are absent.